Elvis Presley è il più discusso e imitato cantante di tutti i tempi, ma finora nessuno ha mai raccontato la sua vera storia.
Here's a guy go out in front of 30,000 people and do a show to knock your brains out, but he didn't want to be around anybody. He only trusted the immediate group.
I membri del suo entourage hanno accontentato ogni suo desiderio. Ora, a 25 anni dalla sua morte, hanno deciso di rompere il silenzio e raccontarci la loro versione dei fatti.
It was like being in a whorehouse with a credit card. It was really unbelievable. It was, you know, it never stopped.
My soul surrender.
I was committed to take the bullet for Elvis. I was committed to take the stool, the knife, the club, whatever it was that was coming at him, I was going to get in front of it.
And he had these gold-plated 22s, and he said, look, I love you, but if you don't shut up, you old son of a bitch, I'm going to blow your head off.
You know, so many stories have circulated over the years about Elvis was a drug taker. Well, there is some truth into that. But if you don't have the real story, and if you weren't there to see it, there's no way you can know what was really going on.
Graceland, Memphis, Tennessee. Non solo una fortezza per il re, ma un rifugio di un gruppo unico di collaboratori. Vero e proprio scudo umano tra il più famoso artista sulla terra e tutti coloro che vorrebbero avvicinarsi a lui. Essi rimarranno fedeli al re come mai nessun entourage prima di allora.
Everybody likes to have a big wing over them that you don't get cold and the rain doesn't fall on you. Everybody likes that. We had it. I mean, we closed those gates behind us and, you know, outside of God, nobody could get to us.
Elvis è affascinato dal potere e dalla fedeltà delle grandi famiglie mafiose e vuole un esercito privato che tenga a bada il mondo esterno.
Elvis got on this kick wearing suits, and we always thought that black mohair suits looked sharp.
We all got into this, and black mohair suits, black shirt, black tie, like a bunch of mob guys, you know. We get in a limousine and take off, get out of the car. It was exciting.
We stayed up all night and never saw the sunshine. Our skin was, you know, extremely white. And if we ever went out in the daytime, we had to wear these very dark sunglasses.
I think there was a reporter there or somebody just wrote an article about Elvis in town and all his boys, and he called us the Memphis Mafia.
And somehow it stuck. And since then, we've been known as the Memphis Mafia.
Tra le persone più vicine ad Elvis vi sono Marty Lacker, il cassiere di Elvis. Billy Smith, suo cugino, molto legato a lui. Lamar Fike ha la risposta giusta ad ogni domanda di Elvis. Sonny West, fedele guardia del corpo. Joe Esposito, leader del gruppo, lascia sua moglie per seguire il re. Jerry Schilling, il più istruito, aiuta ad armonizzare i componenti del gruppo. E Larry Geller, parrucchiere e guru.
It's very hard to explain to somebody who didn't experience that relationship in all those years. It was an exclusive club. It was an exclusive brotherhood. I mean, we were like this, regardless of whether there was resentment at times or arguments at times or what have you. There was us and there was them. And them was everybody who was not in the group. As far as the pay was concerned, money, there was basically was none. And when I first went to work for him, and I had a wife and a child, he paid me $45 a week.
You had tensions among the guys at times, pairing off, if you know what I mean. I can only tell you what I felt. There was times when Elvis was closer to one individual than he was others. And when that happened, you felt almost like, you know, what am I here for, you know? I think Elvis picked his own group and he studied them. You know, I mean, he didn't just hire them right on the spot. Hey, oh, he seemed like a real nice guy. You know, you had to be around him for a while.
Elvis si circonda di persone della sua stessa estrazione sociale, leali e sincere come il duro Sonny West.
Elvis and myself grew up in housing projects, government housing projects, which there was Lamar Terrace, where I was raised up, Lauderdale Courts, where Elvis was there. He did need someone, and I was athletic and everything, and a street fighter, and so it just, I mean, that's probably a lot to do with what he hired me for.
Su queste strade malfamate, Elvis, ancora adolescente, gioca a fare il duro. Vuole distinguersi dalla massa e sceglie dei compagni che la pensino come lui.
The way I met Elvis was in the last year of high school at Humes High School in 1953. When I moved from New York to Memphis, I still wore the same type of clothes we wore in New York. And the guys in Memphis my age basically wore Levi's, a T-shirt, and had a crew cut, except one guy, and that was Elvis. And he basically dressed the same way we dressed in New York. And Elvis was a bit of a loner back then. He had maybe 3 or 4 friends that lived in the same housing project he did, and primarily was shy, did not really come out of his shell until a couple of talent shows, and the girls started screaming.
He was lovable, he was dangerous, everything a young kid would admire, you know. And I remember going home, saying a little prayer that night, saying, gosh, I mean a real prayer, saying, I really wish he would be my friend.
Per quei ragazzi vissuti a Memphis nei primi anni 50, Elvis rappresenta un nuovo affascinante mondo di glamour, ribellione e sex appeal. Quando ascoltano la sua prima canzone registrata in un piccolo studio di Memphis, comprendono che si sta compiendo una rivoluzione. La Sun Records ha scoperto un cantante bianco con la voce di un nero, il cui impatto nessuno può prevedere.
I mean, Elvis thought it'd last 4 or 5 years and be over with. You know, and it didn't. It kept on going. You know, Elvis was a very nice, humble, polite person. But, I mean, he knew who he was. There was no doubt he knew who he was. And we knew who we were. And we knew that we were part of the elite, so to speak.
Un eccezionale filmino amatoriale cattura la vita dell'artista alla fine degli anni 50.
Elvis did not make friends easy. He just didn't like to do it. And with us, he didn't have to do it. And with us, we all could be what we wanted to be, and he could be the same. We knew what made him tick, and he, of course, knew the same thing about us.
Because I'd seen Elvis entertain, you know, as a teenager, you know, and the movement was there even back then, but to see it, you know, full blown, actually in the concert, it was overwhelming. It really was. All these fans going wild and screaming, and you know, and I'm thinking, gosh, man, he's look here, look what this man's got, you know. Would not like to have part of it, you know. He was awesome, you know. I kind of studied Elvis, you know. I mean, I wanted to be so much like him. I mean, you know, I was just like any other, I guess, fan when it got right down to it. I liked to dress like him, you know, and Elvis was, to me, was just, you know, like a big brother, too, in a way.
I don't think before or ever since ever seen that much things around. I think you use the term things because when I say things, it's not only women, but there's cars and money and security, and it's almost like you could walk on water. It was amazing. It was you couldn't do anything wrong. We were like the disciples. Of course, I'm not comparing Elvis to Jesus, but it was the same sort of overall premise. We were the group around him.
Siamo nel 1958, gli Stati Uniti si sentono ancora minacciati dalla Russia. Elvis è costretto a partire per il servizio di leva. Viene inviato dall'esercito in Germania. Ma Elvis gode di fame e privilegi mai concessi a nessun'altra recluta. Gli viene addirittura concesso di portare con sé alcuni suoi amici.
The Army didn't know what to do with Elvis, and they didn't want the problem. I mean, they really did not want the problem. They got it full force, and it just... In fact, the matter is, Eisenhower had put a secret blanket over Elvis to not let anybody know where he was or what he was doing. I mean, this came from the president.
I met him only about the last 7 months of his duty in the Army. And so he was over there for quite a while. So he had a lot of other good Army buddies, too. And he had a couple of friends from Memphis there. Lamar Fike was there. So they were always around.
We always would, hang out and laugh and sing and stuff like that, and just do things to keep his life as normal as possible. And ours was so abnormal, we didn't know whether to, should I go blind. It was just really unbelievable,
The first time I really felt I was around Elvis as a big star, we went on leave to Paris, France. Every place we walked, people were following Elvis, taking pictures of him, wanting his autograph, and that was the first experience for me of being around a big star. And I felt pretty good because I was with him. We were both single men, and being with him, he was a very good magnet. He attracted a lot of ladies. It was good for us. Every place we went, we went to a couple of nightclubs in the evening and met beautiful ladies, and they were all come around. We'd go to a hotel and talk and visit, and it was something new for me, I'll tell you that.
The chorus line at Toledo were a group of girls called the Bluebell Girls, and they're from England. We had a table right down near the front, and we were checking them out, and I turned around to him. I said, I guess we're going to have to go on an expedition here. And he said, yeah. I like that one, that one, that one. It was like picking out, food in a delicatessen. And so we started getting the numbers and names, and so afterwards I told him, I think we need to have a party over at the hotel. So one night we had all of them over there. The first night we had, it was, I want to say 25 or 30. I'm not sure what the number is, but just they were everywhere. 300 or 400 or 500 of us in a room together, and just, if you died, it was a good time to do it, And my phone rang, and I picked it up, and a guy on the phone said, sir, he said, it's 7:05. And I said, thank you. I thought it was the desk calling to tell me what time it was. I got into Elvis' room, it rang again, I picked up, and the guy said, sir, he says, any way you can help me? And I said, well, what do I need to do? And he said, you have the whole chorus line over at the hotel, and we can't start the show. And I said, you're serious? He said, yeah, we can't start the show. Fantastic. Some of my fondest memories are, the older you get, you look back on things like that and you go, good Lord, it could never happen again. If it happened again, I'd turn into nothing but hair, teeth, and eyes. But, you can't. Those are great times. They were great times.
Elvis was a very funny guy. He had a good sense of humor. He was really up. A lot of people thought because he was in the service, he'd be depressed and not too happy, but he enjoyed his times there. I mean, he was very active, and I think he realized that the people in the Army respected him because he was a little concerned that they wouldn't like him. We had great times, a lot of laughs. We used to kid each other all the time and make fun of each other, and it was just like a bunch of rowdy guys.